The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning. It's Friday.
Oh my God, I'm loving it. It's Friday with the ladies' room. And I'm Brenda.
And it's your girl. I can't even talk this morning. It's your girl, KB.
Well, you know, every week I try to have a woman of the week because I think it's important for us to acknowledge our people. And it don't necessarily have to be an African-American lady, but it just needs to be a strong woman, I think, that can give something to us.
Yeah, because we can get encouragement or empowerment from any woman.
Exactly. That is worthy of that. But I want to start because I did choose Oprah.
Oprah. Okay.
And I didn't think that I needed to give a whole resume on her because just...
It's Oprah. Her name says it all.
Absolutely. But she's profound. Mm-hmm. And I really, really like her because there are so many things that we can get from her. Not just one thing, because there was a development and a growth process with her to become who she is today. And I think that that's important, that we understand we have to grow.
Definitely.
We have to transform in order to become who we are trying to become. And I picked a small quote from her this week because it stood out to me. Mm-hmm. And she said, the adventure of living your life is to live the dream that you have for yourself.
That's very profound. I like that.
I think it's important that we do live our dreams.
It is.
I think it's important that we dream.
And not live anyone else's dream. Live your dream.
If we dream outside the box. I mean, because going to school, doing whatever it is that you want to do, it is important.
Follow your dream.
It's really important.
It's very important. Very important.
There's so much that we can do. We just have to know that we can do it.
True.
And I mean, sometimes that seems really simple. But a lot of times, a lot of the things are not just simple for everyone.
No, it's not.
I was telling a young lady this week that she was privileged to have a great support system. Because I think I mentioned a few weeks back that I ran into 3 young ladies that didn't have that support system. Mm-hmm. But living that dream, even if your support system is there or not, you have to do something every single day to push yourself towards that. But my real strong question is, if you don't know, how do you know? You know, like if a young lady, like a couple of ladies I was speaking with, they absolutely did not have a clue the power that they have as young women.
I'm sorry. When you say when they don't know, you mean don't know
they're not
that they have a dream?
That they can live the dream and they can create a dream.
Oh, okay.
You know, because sometimes it's just survival.
True. I think that everyone has a dream. It might just be a chocolate sundae from Cold Stone. No, but seriously.
I'm not sure about that because I was actually shopping one day and, you know, with our entertainment company, I'm always looking for beautiful young people. Mm-hmm. And I did see this absolutely stunning young African-American female. Mm-hmm. Chocolate, pretty, just really body, everything was on point. Mm-hmm. And so when my daughter and I approached her, and I asked her if she could do anything in the world, what would she do?
And what did she say?
She said she'd party. I was just so taken back.
Was she serious?
No, she was absolutely serious. And the way I know that she was serious, I rephrased the question and asked it again. Because I was shocked at the answer. And the answer was the same. She said she'd party. So that made me think a mentality. I couldn't be angry at her. I couldn't be upset. Only thing I could do was reach out to say, you know what? Maybe she just does not know that this is a giant world and there are so many things that you could do and achieve in it. Mm-hmm. But we have to start with setting goals. So I did give her a number, had her call us, said, you know, maybe you need to sit down with us for about 15 minutes with your mom
Mm-hmm, of course.
And let's just have a conversation about goal setting.
I wonder what her definition of partying is. You know what I mean? Maybe partying is, hey, live like a rock star. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say that she didn't have goals that she wanted to achieve. You know, some people, their way of answering a question might just be a little different than what...
I think I just said that I rephrased it a couple times. And if
But
I
did
say,
she say...
here's a question. If I say, if you could do anything in the world that you want to do, if you could change anything, if you could become anything, if you could do anything in the world, anything, we could look that definition up. What does anything mean?
Okay, if I were to pose the question to you, what would you tell me?
What's the question?
If you can do anything in this world.
I could change policies. I could travel. I would expand A, B, or C. I mean, I could come up with an answer, Kim. That's like, I'm tapping into a 16-year-old's mind.
Yeah.
To say, that's saying a lot about who you are, what's going on, what do you think, how are you going. It gives you information about yourself.
Yeah, she just needs another outlook.
And that's why I gave her the
life.
number and said, can you give it to your mom? And have your mother call, and we could do a sit down, because I was really shocked and I was really surprised. Now, like you said, she could have goals.
Yeah.
It could be some other stuff.
They could be hidden a little bit.
But she definitely didn't mention it. That was an opportunity to mention it. That was an opportunity to express yourself. I'm looking for clients, but I'm looking for people that are willing to say that, okay, either they know what they want, they have an idea of what they want,
or they have no idea.
If they don't have an idea, then my next step is to help.
Because if you can recall, I believe it was like 6 months ago when we ran across a girl who, her biggest dream was to, because she was pregnant, I believe. Her biggest dream was to get that certificate from Section 8. Remember that?
Oh.
And that was like that was her all to, you know, her end of everything. That's all she needed was that Section 8 certificate. And we kind of talked to her. It's like, oh no, you need to get your own place. Depend on yourself. You don't need to, depend on nobody else. So it's just a mind frame. How some people, some people just don't know.
And that's the point. That's what I'm saying. If they don't know, how do we make sure that they do know? How do we change one thing? How do we transform one person? Because I think that is the goal, is to encourage, to uplift, and to give information to our young ladies, or anyone actually, but basically to women, our young ladies, and self. Because I learn a lot every day. I'm
sorry, but especially women, because we're the ones who's giving birth, to men and women. The future. So yeah, it's very important, and I think that's why our class is very important, because we work with young ladies. We tackle on these subjects, so
these issues.
It's very needed. And it's a reminder for us as well.
But I also want to go back to the Section 8 thing. I think it can help you if it's utilized properly.
Correct. It's not a lifelong.
No, it's not. But I do think that, because of the way that our community receives certain information and housing, that's housing. Sure. Now, if they say, okay, we're gonna deal with, I don't want to touch on this a little bit because I think it's important. If we're going to allow housing, but it comes with the plan, like you said, it can be a lifetime plan. But what they can say is that, okay, if you do this, we give you the housing, then we expect A, B, and C from you, which is go to school, or even educate, or even take a trade, or even look for a better job to generate better money. Just something, it's called improvement. I
think a little differently, because it's like you put in stipulations, like if I give you this, you got to do this.
That's what life does. Period. But you want to cash this check, stand in line. If you want this check, or you put it, we have online banking, but I'm just saying that normally, don't we stand in line if we want to purchase food, if we want to get gas?
Or you can cook your own food.
Right.
But I
get you. But I'm just saying the stipulations in this society, and the rules change according to who is in control and who's in charge. But go ahead, back what you think.
No, I was just saying that my whole thing would be just to change the mind frame of the people receiving it. Because if you want it, you can achieve it, right? If you believe it, you can achieve it. And if it's a person out there who doesn't, I can't even talk, but maybe that's all they want, then that's all you're going to get. You know what I'm saying?
But my point, and what I'm trying to raise is that, okay, that's true. Just like the young lady with the party, just like you're saying with this lady right here, is the fact that, sit down, let's open up and let's show you what you can do. Because each of us that know better, we have a responsibility to do better. True. And we have a responsibility to inform, educate, and get information out to others. Not that all knowing and almighty, all that.
Yeah.
But I just think that we do have a responsibility. I mean, my feelings, I got a little bit in my feelings with the 16-year-old because she said about the partying.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little just taken back by that. But it brought me to a reality that that's something that needs to be addressed, that we need to be able to take our young ladies and say, this is the possibility. Because I don't want to generalize and categorize everybody like that, because there's some really beautiful, intelligent, fast-forward thinking young sisters out there, and that's what I'm talking about. We can get those to help with the ones that, what is it, No Child Left Behind, to help with the people that are not on the same level. But I just think that we definitely need to make sure that we give something. So if any of our listeners out there, if you have any programs or you have anything that can help with our young ladies' development, I would love for you to call in. And our number is 323-293-3375, and that's at Morris Studios. Morris Media Studios. But I just think that we do need to come up with solutions.
We do.
And all that stemmed from Oprah, the Woman of the Week, because I'm sure she had her challenges.
We all do.
Yes,
we all do.
Yes, and we can get through them.
We can, definitely.
She definitely didn't start off as Miss Oprah Winfrey. So for her to grow, develop, and transform, and to become, it says that we all can. We can do whatever we set our minds to.
We can.
And what you said earlier, if you could believe it, we could definitely achieve it.
Definitely.
And trusting yourself.
Always.
Because there's always, what was the other word you use? Stipulations. And there are always stipulations. And when anybody see that you're moving, I think goodness will come when you are moving in a positive, productive manner.
As long as you put effort forward, it will. It definitely will. Okay, you just have to put the effort in.
I remember being young. I didn't have all the right answers and decisions.
I don't think any of us did.
But I definitely had a desire and a drive. And I was thinking, is that something you're born with or something you learn? You know, I kind of think that you are totally born with an innate spirit inside of you. You might not know it or recognize it when you're young, but it develops.
It's questionable.
It could be. Could be questionable, but I think I think because there's a certain spirit that's in each of us. Or maybe that word is too strong of a word, but
no, it's not.
It's just something that is in us. It's either we have drive,
or we don't.
And the drive could be in a lot of different areas. It's not necessarily. It could be not always a good drive, but we definitely have drive, and we definitely have ability to achieve whatever it is that we want to once we set our minds to it. So I'm saying to all our young ladies out there, and young ladies to me means 40 and down.
Hey, no, I'm just playing.
That you can absolutely achieve anything that you want. Trust yourself. Absolutely. Believe in yourself. Set your goals. And make sure that you are moving towards that. Do something every day towards your betterment of yourself. Every day. A little something. Does not have to be a magnificent transformation in one day. That's why I love the little analogy of the caterpillar that transforms into the beautiful butterfly. And that's life. Now, all the butterflies don't turn out beautiful.
They do.
No, you got the little yellow ones.
Everybody has beauty. Everything has beauty in it.
Just my thoughts. It's just my thoughts. Okay. But then you have the little little ones. And then you have the ones that's all multicolors and just really huge. So the butterflies, I dig that. Transformation. I think that's good. Mm-hmm. I'm with it.
Well, it's your girl KB, and one of our topics today is supporting Black businesses. Supporting Black businesses is very vital to our communities. The profits from spending in our community help where we live. It creates jobs for our people. Black-owned businesses can't succeed without Black people. The race could not build. I have to read my paper. The race who does not build is always controlled by those who do.
Well, I think that we generate $1.5 trillion a year, African Americans.
For who, though? Not in our communities.
We generate $1.5 trillion. And it is up to us to bring awareness, to figure out where are we going to spend that money and how are we spending the money. And if we want to bring about a change, then we need to start with step one. There's so many different angles we could go with this on building a Black business or maintaining it.
True.
I could ask the question, where's the Black community? But we're not going to go there. We're going to stay focused on where we are with it. But
just speaking on the importance of supporting Black businesses, however, I had a bad incident with 2 Black businesses this week. So, I mean, you know, we went to a restaurant that we normally frequent. Food is excellent. Customer service is terrible. And I mean, the little waitress just had attitude. It's like, for what? You know, we didn't do anything to her or anything like that. But I'm just, you know, the waitress had a bad attitude. Then you had an older chick that worked there. She was like letting her friends come in. She was giving them the hookup. And I was wondering why you don't see this company with, you know, multiple franchises all over the state. And, you know, it contributes to those couple of things.
Okay.
And so, I mean, for me, as an entrepreneur, any entrepreneurs out there, here's a golden opportunity for you. I said that I would come up with or maybe an entrepreneur out there listening could come up with a training company. Just go in and train people on customer service, train the management, train the business owners. I mean, because things like this will stop the business from being successful. A success, you know. It's just common sense, but at the same time, it's missing in a lot of companies that I've encountered.
Okay, I hear you. And I really appreciate the fact that you said something along, there was a problem, and now the solution is the possibility of our African-American businesses making sure that they get complete training. Mm-hmm. Because it is disturbing to go into a restaurant or the establishment and order your food, pay your money, and you're not happy. Mm-hmm. But even if you're not happy, I really, really want to emphasize the solution. Because we could go and complain, because when I get good service, I don't care where I'm at. When I receive good service, I totally, totally appreciate it. So when I receive the opposite service, it is annoying. But I do like the fact that there's a solution. So if anybody have a solution or you want to contribute to better training in African-American community and businesses, you can call us at 323-293-3375 and give us your ideas and suggestions, and we will take that seriously. And we are about to go on break.
And coming back from the break, we will be joined by Timothy Simpson. He is a entrepreneur coach. He's a successful entrepreneur, and he was one of the first... He opened, at the age of 25, he opened a wing restaurant. So we're going to find out from him ways on how to open up a business, start a business, maintain a business, and to keep it going. So join us after the break.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Hello? Hey, how y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Hi, welcome back to the
Welcome back to
ladies'
ma'am. Can y'all
Ladies'
room.
hear
Room. We
me?
have our special guest here with us today, and we are definitely going to enjoy this because it is entrepreneurial based, where we can get information, find out all type of good things.
And our guest is Timothy Simpson. He's had more businesses in his life. he had, I'm sorry, he's had more business than jobs in his life. He has personally started 11 businesses. Timothy, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All
Well,
right,
good
good deal, good
morning.
deal. All right, so do you want me to start with the intro or do you
Yes,
have any questions to start with?
you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
And you can
Okay,
tell us a little bit
okay.
about yourself, and then we'll come in with some questions.
All right, good deal. Now, bear with me. Like, I'm kind of under the weather, so bear with me a little bit. If I'm too low, just tell me, speak up a little bit. For starters, I'm from South Carolina, born and raised. Born, I'm an Army brat. So
Oh,
my
okay.
stepdad married my mom at 2. So I've traveled the world. I lived in Oklahoma, Kansas, and I've actually lived in Germany for 8 years. So
Wow.
I have a very diverse cultural background.
Mm-hmm.
I finished high school here in South Carolina, and then I went to college my first year at Benedict College, which is HBCU. And then I transferred to the University of South Carolina, where I went to school for like 4 years. I actually didn't complete college. I dropped out with 3 classes to graduate because
Oh,
I was already really deep in entrepreneurship. Basically the whole time I was in college, I ran multiple businesses.
wow.
Now, meaning I was basically a serial entrepreneur, which is the same thing Master P is, Jay
Mm-hmm.
Z, Puff Daddy. A lot of people don't know Tupac actually was a serial entrepreneur. He owned multiple businesses. So my passion and my purpose in life was entrepreneurship, but initially I was going to college to become a lawyer and a sports agent.
Wow.
However, I've been starting businesses since I was 8. I started my very first business in 1988, actually in Oklahoma. I lived in Fort Sill, Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I started my first business. I had my very second business in Germany at age 10.
Wow.
Um, at
Did
age
you?
10, and then I had my third business at 11. I was staying in Fort Stewart, Georgia at that time. Now, as far as my adult life, I've been starting, I guess, legal businesses, like legal as far as business license and so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
starting at age 19.
What was
And
some?
then
I'm
just say,
sorry if I can cut in really quick. This is your girl KB. What was
yes,
some
ma'am.
of your influences to put you in that state of mind to be an
I
entrepreneur?
would, I would say, well, definitely my parents. Like I had 2 dads. Like I had a stepdad, really great stepdad. My biological father,
Oh,
he's a district circuit judge. So
oh,
he, basically chased his dreams, and that was an inspiration. My mother was actually an entrepreneur. She had like a home-based daycare. So we grew up,
mm,
basically babysitting kids and kind of helping her with their child development plans and whatnot. So I would say in home, like my parents, and then outside, I would say like local business owners. Like
mm-hmm,
I would kind of look up to them, and then I call virtual inspirations like people like Les Brown. Now I
mm-hmm.
listen to Eric Thomas,
I listened to him
Zig
too.
Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Marcus Garvey,
Yep,
Malcolm X. Like I listen to pretty much anyone that believes in economic empowerment and entrepreneurship.
that's
Okay, that
key.
sounds awesome. So I have a couple questions, and I'm Brenda.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
One of them I want to know. You said that you started a business at 10 years old, right? So
Yes,
what
ma'am.
did you do at 10?
Actually, at 10 years old, I had like a babysitting business.
Oh, okay.
My older sister, she got fired from the job, like for whatever reason. And like, it was my football coach. It was Mr. Green. So I actually, after she got fired, I just called them and it was like, hey, can I take the job or whatever? And they was like, yeah. So I basically had a little babysitting gig. And what I did was when I got paid, I would buy three things for the family. I would buy milk, bread, and bologna because we had a family of 6 and we were living on a Army income. So I basically was, responsible as early as 10. Wow. And I had my first layaway, which was a $47 San Antonio Spurs jacket at 10 years old.
Oh, that was awesome. That was really awesome. And I like the fact that you understood at that young age to help your family. That's extremely important.
Absolutely.
It is.
But, I did read that you had 11 businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
What I want to ask you is, out of the 11, how many are you maintaining and that are still growing, other than the one where you are absolutely giving information to people to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, well, I'll give you a breakdown. Now, the 11 is basically a span between age 19 and then now I'm 37. So it's over a period of time.
You look 22. All right,
just say I've owned. Yes, ma'am. I've owned 2 restaurants. I had my first restaurant at age 22, my second one at 25.
Wow.
I had 2 cleaning franchises, my first one at 22, in which I was the youngest franchisee for this company that I can't mention because I'm trying to actually get a brand endorsement deal from them. And until they cut a check, I'm not going to mention their name. But I was their youngest franchisee at 22. Wow. Then I bought another one at 25. So I've had 2 restaurants, 2 cleaning franchises, 1 restaurant cleaning company, 1 janitorial floor care company, in which I've serviced basically all the retail Fortune 500 companies, from Office Depot to Best Buy, Food Lion, Bi-Lo, wow. PetSmarts. Like, I've been dealing with Fortune 500 companies since my early 20s. I've also had 2 tire shops. I bought my first one 4 years ago off Craigslist, actually. And then my second one, I opened last year in October. Okay. I've had a lawn care service that I bought out of a Carolina trader. So I've had a lot of different businesses.
Right. But I want you to answer the question, which was, how many of them are still owned and they're still being maintained right now?
Currently, I basically, I just say over that span of time, either I sold the businesses, learned from them, like meaning like it was a good experience while I had it, end up, either selling, giving it away, or closing the business. So I just say, for instance, at 28, I had a 6-figure restaurant cleaning company, and I bought it. It was out of town in Savannah, Georgia. I bought it because it was already an automated business, meaning it came with employees. Mm-hmm. So I didn't expect to have to run it. But what happened was my employees, they weren't basically doing what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So I was in jeopardy of losing it. Now, I had just quit like a basically really good salary job to buy the business. Mm-hmm. And so when I was in jeopardy of losing it, I actually moved to Savannah on a really short notice. I lived in my car at the South Carolina, Georgia truck stop for 60 days. I had like a brand new Charger. I lived in it for 60 days because with some contracts, they do what you call net 45 or net 60 pay. So I basically had to wait for my first check, 60 days, which I had just left my job, just bought the business. So I lived in my car until I got my first check.
And how old were you?
Ma'am?
How old were you?
I was 28.
Okay.
I was 28 at the time.
Not
currently I'm focusing on just my, I have a business called Junior CEO Academy, where I teach kids ages 6 to 16, basically entrepreneurship and leadership. All right. Last year I sold my tire shop. The tire shop I had for 4 years. I sold it to my younger business partner who I was mentoring. So he took over the business. Our second tire shop we opened basically out of season. So it didn't really last long, and we didn't want to put more money into it to make sure it matured. So we just, basically closed it. So right now, currently, I'm focusing on my coaching business. I do also ebooks, webinars, digital entrepreneurship. So I've basically transitioned as an entrepreneur into more intellectual property, where I can create products to mass market to help a lot of people. So I kind of can't coming out of the field of brick and mortar businesses, more into digital and intellectual property.
I like that. I can understand that. Now, for your junior CEO, I have a son that I would like to enroll in that. Is that something you do online, or do you have to be on location?
I do it online. Like I actually just coached 2 young guys the other day from Georgia, and we right over the internet. Like I do Zoom and Facebook video chat or even Skype. I help them start their trash collection business, and it's actually projected to make them about $200 to $500 a week, and they're 9-year-olds and 12-year-olds.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I have a question for someone who is just starting out and they really want to start their own business, no matter what it may be. What advice would you give them? What is step 1, 2, and 3 that they should acknowledge before while they're starting to build?
Okay, I would say the biggest thing is basically you want to write a business plan. Now, I usually tell people, unless you're trying to get a business loan or investors, just keep it short and sweet. That way you don't get discouraged by thinking you have to write like a 20-page business plan. I've started businesses, and of course I'm more seasoned, but I've started businesses basically on one sheet of paper. And then some of them blossom to be like 6-figure businesses. So I would tell people, all right, start with your business plan, focus on 5 W's and 1 H. And that's going to be 5 W's would be who, what, when, where, why. And then 1 H would be how. And that's going to be your business plan. And like just say when I do business coaching, I kind of break it down. But just, all right, start with the business plan. And then once you get your business plan, you get your business name, you get your logo. Then the next thing you want to do, you get your tax ID number. Then you take that, you go get your business license, depending on if you're in the city or the county. In the county, they say you don't have to have a license. So I've had businesses where you didn't have to have a license. In the city, you get a business license. And then and the reason why you get your license too is most of the time you can't open a business bank account without a license. Yeah. So those are going to be in sequence. So you're going to go business plan, tax ID number, business license, business bank account, and basically you're in business, just like that.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And then I also like to make a reference to the junior program. Okay. What are the age limits for that? What would you consider junior program?
I have 3 different programs. I have an academy called No Training Wheels Academy, and that's from ages 2 to 6. And I kind of focus on self-esteem, self-confidence, self-help, in which I actually have a self-help book I wrote for children called No Training Wheels. It's actually on Amazon right now. So that's for 2 to 6. And then from 6 to 16, I have Junior CEO Academy. And that's where I focus on entrepreneurship and leadership. And then I also have a youth development program called Rich by 21. And I focus on everything from credit to college to relationships to entrepreneurship, like the whole spectrum.
Okay.
So I have something for all ages.
Okay, that's awesome. You did touch on something I think is important for us to understand, represent, and respect, which is credit. So what would you tell our young entrepreneurs about credit?
That's a big deal. Credit, the younger you can learn about it, the better. Like I didn't learn until I got my credit messed up. So basically, I was never able to use my credit to my advantage for business growth or even like business loans. But so what I would tell people that, especially young people or people that have good credit, maintain your credit is like really 3 easy ways to build your credit up. Secure credit card, secure loan, and a department store card. Like if you get those 3 things, you can basically, go. Like I went, when I did start developing my credit, I went from like a 420 to like a 700 by getting a secure loan, secure credit card, and a department store card, and basically just paying on them on time for a year. And then with that being said, you can get credit cards with, $10,000 on it. You can get signature loans. You can get line of credits, which will help you if you don't have the capital.
Now, Timothy, are you using your own personal credit or are you using business credit?
Well, I've never been able to use either. Like when I started businesses, so I've mainly used business cash flow to open up other businesses, or what you call sweat equity. Meaning, all right, just say for instance, when I bought a lawn care service out of the Carolina Trader, all right, the guy wanted $15,000 for it. Me and my partner basically gave him half the money up front, and then we worked 2 or 3 months for free and let him keep the invoicing, which covered the other $7,500. So that form of financing is called sweat equity. It's a business term. So that means if you don't have the capital, you basically work and use that to pay for the business.
Oh, okay. Learned something today.
Yes.
And I also had another question for young entrepreneurs starting off. How much capital would you say that they should have to start a business?
Well, I've started businesses negative. Like I've had like negative bank accounts, negative, no money. For instance, when I was after I had the business in Savannah where I lived in my car 60 days. All right, once I finally got my first check and, business was great, I got an apartment, really nice apartment, everything started getting better. Once I got tired of the business, I basically gave it away to move back to Columbia. All right, I took a little part-time, I actually volunteered with the Salvation Army for like 7 days. And then I, basically went from negative, like maybe $700 to getting a call from Dollar Generals to do floors for them. And then I went basically back up to making $500 a day stripping and waxing floors. So I basically had a negative check balance once I moved back. And then just by basically volunteering my time, with the Salvation Army, pretty much I call that spiritual equity. So by doing that, it kind of released, basically, funds for me. So I didn't have any money. And then also at 28, probably a couple months after that, just say I took a job, a plant job. I was working at a cable plant, and I did that, because I had a son and, I needed, a little more income. So what ended up happening was I got laid off, like the plant was laying off. So once again, I went back to zero. So what I did was with the laptop and a cell phone, I started an online payday loan company where I basically did loan processing. And within a week, I went from having no car, because my car ended up getting repossessed. I went from no car to making $1,200 a day, and then I was able to drive 2 Mercedes Benzes. I basically was leasing cars then. So I've did it a lot of different ways.
Now, can you elaborate on that a little more? Just explaining how you went from being a car repossessed to loaning money.
Okay, well, all right. Like I said, when I moved back from Savannah after giving the business away, I still had a car note. I had a brand new Dodge Charger when they came out, and it was, my car was pretty tight. It had the rim, scoop, wing, like fully loaded. But my car note, because my credit wasn't good, was probably near 500. So you got car note, you got insurance, you got gas. All right, and then I had my first son. So between that, basically my car got repossessed. And what I ended up doing, like after I got laid off from the job, I remember one time when I was in Savannah, I actually got online payday loan companies to make payroll like 1 month. I think they gave me maybe like $3,000. So me remembering that, I was like, you know what? I can start an online payday loan processing company in which I help connect payday loan companies with consumers. So I basically started a company like that, and I end up helping out 3 counties, basically almost half of like the area I stayed in. I end up helping them out, just say with Christmas money, rent money, mortgage money. So what I was doing is basically I was doing like an 80-20 split. Like I would get them the loan and they would basically pay me a 20% commission. And then I also created a referral program to where everybody that I did a loan for, they referred 3 to 10 people. So I was basically processing anywhere from 10 to 30 loans a day. So that's how I was making $1,200 a day.
Wow,
and then I was
awesome.
able to
that
put,
was smart. That was really
awesome.
smart.
Okay, so what we initially started with was the business plan for the entrepreneur who is really serious about changing their lives and becoming an entrepreneur. What's the business plan? The 5 W's and the 1 H: when, where, what, why, and how, and the tax ID number that is necessary in particular cities and in order for you to have a bank account. Okay, I also wanted to touch base just a little bit on Where are you actually located at? Will the classes that you offer, are they online? Will you be coming to Cali? Are you maintaining yourself in La Carolina? So could you give us a little information on how our listeners could figure out how to connect with you?
Okay, yes, ma'am. My website is timthemotivator.com. Like my email is timthemotivator@gmail.com. Like it's the same. Like just say LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have about almost 8,000 friends on there. I have 2 Facebook pages. One is just Timothy Simpson, and then the other one is my country nickname, which is Timbo Black Sun. So, all right. So I got 2 Facebook sites. LinkedIn, Twitter. My account is either Tim the Motivator. That's one Twitter account. My other one is No ID 12. So I can be reached, via email, social media. Most of my business courses, unless, they're local, I do online, via Zoom. I do Skype one-on-one coaching sessions. I also have like text messaging packages. I have regular phone call packages. So pretty much if somebody gets in contact with me, I can, give them a session, whether it's virtual, online, or if they're local, or if they do booking, I travel too. Now, I do plan on coming to California. I have a few business people that I'm networking with. One of my best friends and business, kind of my brother from college, he actually moved to LA. He's a publicist there, and he writes screenplays. So eventually I'll be, doing a lot of traveling there anyway. I would hope to, kind of get booked there. That way I can, make money and network while I'm there. I would definitely be willing to speak free at a lot of youth organizations. There are a lot of, people out that way that I follow in business. Nipsey Hussle, the rapper, I think he has a business incubator. I'm actually trying to get like an honorary business coaching, partnership through them. I think I just submitted something the other day for that. So pretty much anything geared towards the youth or entrepreneurship, I'm always open to travel and speak with them.
Well, we'll definitely keep your information because we do have youth programs, and I think that you would really be excellent at speaking to our youth, especially my sons in particular.
Well, I definitely enjoy the fact that you are very motivational and that you have a lot of experience and you're willing to share it with so many people. So in order for you to come to California, what I understand is that you want to be booked here, and then you would come, or are you going to come when you do your business with your friend, the writer?
The publicist.
Well, either or, like whichever comes first. Like I said, I'm pretty flexible because I can run my business basically from my phone now. So since I kind of got out of the brick and mortar and, got more into digital entrepreneurship and intellectual property, I could, be anywhere and run my business now. And I would just say new entrepreneurs, basically, since we're in what you call a digital era, it's smart, to at the minimum start an online business because the internet never shuts down. So you're talking about something that's up 24 hours. So you have more opportunities to make income or residual income or just, build your business.
He gave out all his business information.
Now, by having an online business, do you necessarily have to have a business license for that or?
Currently you do not, just because it's like, it's almost considered a home-based business or a virtual business. So it's almost like you're just kind of selling your products, your services. Now, the advantage of getting a license would be once you get to your tax deductions.
Okay, that's awesome.
I would tell people just in general, whether you're an entrepreneur or a business person or not, just having a business, you can take advantage of tax deductions. That means,
that sounds really awesome. And I'm just so glad that we were able to have you here today to give us so much information. And we're looking forward to hearing a lot more good things from you and about you. And as we said, that once you come to Cali, you can contact us and we will definitely try to make some connection with you and some of the things that we're doing and some of the people that we're working with. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you, Timothy. And everybody, for the listeners listening, please hit him up on his social media websites. And I will be getting the book on Amazon, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Timothy, for joining us today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Happy
Appreciate
Friday.
it.
Have a good day.
Hey, Friday.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, happy Mother's Day to y'all, too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
Kim,
you.
that was quite interesting. It was a lot of information. It was a lot going on. And I'm glad that we had that opportunity.
Until we can take off the headphones. That was a lot. That was a wealth of information.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
it. Some things that happened this week that would be quite interesting was one of the things that you want to share after listening to your story about the entrepreneur experience at the African American restaurant. Supporting black businesses. That was interesting. Mm-hmm. But I heard a little bit about Bob Marley's granddaughter.
What did you hear?
I heard that she had rented out an Airbnb and that she had an experience with that one of the neighbors saw her and her friends leaving with suitcases, and they called the police, thought it was suspicious behavior.
Okay, suspicious behavior, meaning what?
Meaning that it was some African-American people taking suitcases out of a house, putting them in a car. So I don't know how they classify it. Suspicious means that it's something, that they could be feeling that they were threatened. I mean...
Was it a white neighborhood? Or
I'm not sure the actual geographics, but the neighbor was Caucasian.
Oh, okay. So they called the police on them?
Yes, they called.
Was it like loud music or was it like did they throw a party?
No, they just felt it was suspicious behavior for these young people moving.
With suitcases?
Suitcases coming in and out of a home that was their neighbors. And so they called and the police came. And now I read the article and appeared in the article that it was a 22-minute process. The officers said that they actually had the incident on the virtual TV and they're monitored it or whatever, but they didn't do anything. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was shot.
Thank God.
Nothing major happened like that. But I also did the follow up with it, and the granddaughter was absolutely.
Mad.
She was upset.
Yeah, I would be too.
Why?
If someone called the police on me, I rented out an Airbnb, and someone called the police, and I would be mad. But I probably would give them a reason to call me because when I rent one, I'm giving a party. That's what I want to rent one for, to give a party. So that's why I'm trying to get the information about the story, because when I told you about a party I wanted to throw, and I wanted to rent an Airbnb. I don't want nobody calling the cops on me.
Okay, well then I think if you do that, I think there should be the responsibility of the person that you rent from, and as well
to let their neighbors to know.
To let the neighbors know.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I don't know, I was a little kind of up in the air about the story because I felt that if it were I want someone to be looking out for me like that. Why do it have to be a negative thing, or why do it have to be a racial thing, or why couldn't it just be somebody looking out for somebody?
Because I can't say this. Our neighbors to the left of us, they would definitely, they would definitely be looky-loos. They would be like, who is that at their house? They would. I don't know if they would necessarily call the cops. I think they would come over and talk to the people first, try to figure out what's going on. But, even with my neighbor, I would, like, who is that? You know what I mean? I would say hi,
Well, I did read the article, and the lady that actually rented the place, she said that Danisha was not being friendly. Her and her friends were not friendly. They didn't wave, they didn't say hi, or they didn't respond to the neighbor. Not that there's nothing that gives you, nothing that says that it's mandatory that you respond to anyone. You don't have to do that. But it is a certain type of mannerism that I think that we should hold as a people, hold ourselves accountable on how to handle situations that could be uncomfortable. Now, it may not have been uncomfortable for them because they rented it, they paid for it.
Yeah.
This is my money. I could do it. There's no obligation for me to have to speak to you. But I do think
common courtesy.
A little bit. And so the owner of the facility just said that she felt that they were being a little rude.
I mean, that might be. I mean, I could see some validity in that. I mean, yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I just asked myself the simple question, would I want my neighbors to do the same
to
thing?
look out for you like that? Yeah, I think you would.
Or would we classify, because we're in 2018 with a lot of things that are happening, would it be classified as racism?
I wouldn't necessarily put it on as racism. I mean, you are in someone else's home or
that
house
you pay for.
that you pay for, but the neighbor doesn't know that.
Well, we don't. They didn't go into that much detail about it, because that's really what I wanted to know. Was this the first time they had rented it out, or is it the first time they rented it out to African Americans, or what was going on where the neighbor didn't understand what was happening or felt threatened? But I also wanted to say something in regards to a situation. My son told me that he went to the mall to look for some jewelry, and so he has found a piece that was totally to what he liked. And he was taking a picture of it.
Okay.
The security guard walked up to him and started aggressively talking to him as if he's staking the joint out. College student, young African American. So I was just thinking, like, oh my God, like.
What was he taking pictures of? The camera, the security system in the store? I mean,
no, he was actually taking a picture of the jewelry that he wanted to purchase.
Okay.
And they really kind of became aggressive with him and was questioning him. And he walked into the store because this is where I want to buy something at. But it's just all different ways to look at these situations. We can't always blame everything on racism.
No, can't.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to Danisha's story about Marley's granddaughter. She did get a lawyer.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did get a lawyer. But there were helicopters and probably a whole bunch of officers and stuff that gathered around her, which could have made her feel uncomfortable.
Heck yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah.
Not only embarrassing, but it's threatening. It's definitely, my life I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that I have a problem with the neighbors looking out for the other neighbors, but I think that two messages that should have been delivered. One of them is that it's okay for you to do that, but call the owner and find out what's really happening first.
Yep.
And if you're really, really that concerned, then step out. If you're bold enough to make that call, then you should be bold enough to face him and walk out and say, "Hey, I'm just concerned. My neighbor lives here. Hey, how are you? I'm introduce yourself." Yeah. And either they can say they don't have to introduce themselves to you, keep walking or whatever, but at least put forth some effort to calm the situation before we go to the extreme. And I think the extreme is calling the police on the young people without no true cause. There was no broken windows. There was nothing. Oh, I was thinking, like, my God, what do they possibly think that they were doing? Putting stuff in a suitcase?
That's what I was going to say, that they were still in,
instantly, when it comes to African Americans, there's a criminal mindset in some instance. I don't know. I was up in the air about it because, do I want my neighbors to call in? Yes. But do I want to be the person that they're calling in on? No. Yeah. So how do you balance that out?
How do you? Because like I said, I plan on renting an Airbnb. What is it? Airbnb? Airbnb. Mm-hmm. And I don't want, no instances like that. So I will ask the owner to, please let your neighbors know. I don't want nobody,
Well, that's giving a warning. It's just like if you're having a major function and you live in a residential area.
You let your neighbors know.
It's just important for everybody to be aware of what's going on.
I know that now.
No, I think that's what we can get from this story. One of the things. Mm-hmm. Because I don't care what story it is. I don't care what's happening. We have to be able to decipher something positive out of it.
That's
because
true.
We cannot respond to every negative incident and just let it run rampant as negative.
And everybody's not up to no good. You know what I mean? How people just, who are they? And because they don't know you, they figure,
But even for the readers, for the listeners, for everyone, I think that we need to take these incidents and find something positive. And if you can change it in any kind of way, make a difference in it, come up with a solution. That there is the problem. The solution could be, if they really have a situation here, sue their bottoms off, But if not, what can we do in the future to make it just a little bit better? Just like with the restaurant.
But you said so, sue. On what grounds?
They said they sued because they felt discriminated against.
Oh.
The Bob Bartley's granddaughter, she felt discriminated. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if the police were friendly and nice. Well, it does matter. I don't mean like it doesn't matter literally. But you guys still came out and approached me on something that I have verification of. And even when she tried to verify the situation through the booking agency that she booked it from, in the report it stated that they still were like, you know what? We don't know if this is legit. We don't know if you have someone there picking up the app and answering these questions. So their integrity was questioned. So that part right there, I do understand that it will make you feel some kind of way when someone questions your integrity, or if they take an incident and they turn it into something that it wasn't. That's disturbing. I've had that happen to me, and it's not a really good feeling. You know, I think that everybody should be given a chance. And once the police arrived, they told them what happened. They had the receipts. They did everything that they needed to do. Then, okay, let's go. But it did say inside the article that they were not harassed or they were not treated differently. And it was a little chit-chat going between the
neighbor.
Between Danisha, her friends, and the police.
Oh, okay.
But it's still always that fear factor because we do live in the fact that African Americans will get killed quickly by the police officers. So whether I'm going to follow the story to see whether or not they actually go along with the suit or what happens, because I really want to know. Because it could be any one of us in that type of situation. Like
I had not to cut you off, but I had like a little, not epiphany, but I guess like a little moment. So you know how rapper Meek Mills got out of prison and all that?
Right.
Wasn't it due to the judge?
I didn't actually.
They had some dirt on the judge or something like that.
Wow.
I just have a feeling that
Wow.
I don't know why, but I have this weird feeling that Bill Cosby is going to be let out due to the judge. So keep an eye open for that.
Keep an eye open
for that.
Okay, now I didn't read the story about Meek Mills and the judge. I did not read that, so I can't comment on that. And on Bill Cosby, we shall see. We shall see what's happening.
Watch what I tell you.
Well, I'm glad it's Friday.
I'm so glad it's Friday.
This has been one of those stressful weeks. Not stressful in a negative way.
Busy,
but also what I said is no matter what we're doing, no matter what it is, we all have to look for the positive out of every situation.
Always.
Even if it does not appear to be favorable to you at the time, let's find favor in it. let's flip it, let's twist it, let's turn it, let's make it good. Because other people will try to make your life miserable.
Yeah.
Will try to do little negative things.
They see you smiling, here they come.
But that's when you become your strongest.
True.
And that's when you live your life's dream. So that means that all those things, you have to push everything that could possibly have a negative
vibe or energy.
Exactly. Push that to the side and roll with the positive. Roll with who you are. Roll with what you want. Roll with your dream. Know who you are. And I believe that. And once you do that, nothing can stop you.
Nothing can stop you.
Nothing can stop you. You have to trust yourself.
I'm all the way up. No, but I like that shirt you have on. That's a beautiful blouse.
Oh, my God, you like that?
I like that.
I thought that you came a little shocked. I was like, oh, my God, Kimmy. It looked good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I thought it was
really cute.
I thought it was
Pretty.
cute. And I thank you. I really enjoy, doing me.
Yeah, I
And
said
this
it's
is
Friday.
Friday.
This girl done got, hey.
It's like, let's just keep it moving in a positive, progressive, productive manner. And that's what we want for everybody. If you can find anything positive in anything that you're doing, do that part of it. Because it's important that we put those vibes out there so that we can grow, transform, and become. That's
like
important. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, I wanted to give a little shout out to Jada Pinkett with the Red Table. I
found that so interesting.
And it was totally different. And it totally opened up
dialogue
with people. One thing I did want to see a little bit more of the solution. She talked about, she said, yeah, we got it together, her and the ex-wife, Cherie. It was about their relationship coming together when she first married Will. But I definitely enjoyed it. I just wanted to hear, okay, if you're in this situation, this is what you can do, you know. But I think the overall thing was effective communication. And it was really, really good. 2 thumbs up to her for that.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. And it was interesting seeing a celebrity go through the same stuff that everybody else go through, you know. And they kind of handled it like everybody else would too, you know.
Right.
So that was interesting to see. But I loved it.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And just for her to be able to be that open and honest. But she's at a point where in her life where you can be that honest. You can be honest, yeah. You can be that open. Mm-hmm. So I want to say, everybody, have a wonderful weekend.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Oh, yes. Happy Mother's Day this week. And if you don't think anybody is doing anything for you for Mother's Day, do something for yourself. Buy your own rose. Sit down. I mean, you know, that sounds a little like, but
do something for someone else. Another mom.
Yeah, or just do something for yourself. Yeah. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You have many more you can enjoy. But happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. And you're going to give your info? How can they get in touch with Brenda?
Well, right now at this moment, we're on time. So I'm going to say you can call 323-293-3375. And that's Morris Media Live from 10 a.m. to 11. And
every Friday.
So I want to say I'm out.
Thanks for tuning in. Happy weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers again. And have a great weekend.